Okay, Michael, so your closing submission is to be 7 minutes. Thank you very much.
Okay, the idea that, first of all, the idea that morality is objective is, I have difficulties with it. I think morality can be, in principle, objectively measured, but I think the idea that it is inherently objective is a flawed idea. But let's run with that and assume that it is objective, since that's what David believes. Even if you accept that morality is objective, there's no reason to believe that an objective morality comes from a God. And in fact, there are reasons to believe that even if you do believe that morality is objective, that not only does it not come from a God, but that it can't come from a God. And that was summed up centuries ago by Plato in his dialogue between Socrates and Euthyphro, where he asked the question, if you believe in a God, or it was the gods in those days, but if you believe in a God, I'll bring it singular for the purpose of this discussion, what criteria does your God use to determine what's right or wrong? Do gods cause random torture to be wrong just based on an arbitrary whim, or do they identify that random torture is wrong based on this objective criteria? And if it's the first, if the God causes random torture to be wrong without any objective criteria independently of himself, then the God could just as easily have decided that random torture is right. And therefore, objective morality is arbitrary and not tied to objective criteria independently of the whim of the God. Or alternatively, if the God merely identifies that random torture is wrong based on some independent criteria, then we don't need the God. We can just go straight to the objective criteria, whatever they are. So while I don't believe that objective morality exists, although I do believe that morality is objectively measurable, even if you do believe in objective morality, there are strong arguments to suggest that not only does it not come from a God, but that it cannot come from a God. And you know, that's kind of obvious when you look at the things that the gods are supposed to have written in the books. And we ourselves recognise that some of it is morally bad. You know, when I suggest, or when I pointed out that Jesus in the book of Revelation threatens to kill the children of Jezebel for the sins of their mother, and I have a different interpretation than you have about what that means because of the section in Revelation that comes from, and so on. But let's put that aside and take your interpretation. Your defence of it was, well, they weren't children. You know, they were adults. You know, why would it be okay to kill adults on the basis of the sins of Jezebel, or on the basis of whatever it is? You know, and I've heard that before when debating with religious people. There's another passage where there's a prophet who is passing from one place to another, and some children mock him and call him a bald head, and as a result he puts a curse on them from God, and a she-bear or two she-bears come out of the woods and tear the children apart. And invariably when I've raised that with religious people, the argument is similar to that. Well, actually, if you look at the phrase there, it's not actually children, it's just young people. You know, they wouldn't really be children. But, I mean, what difference does that make? I mean, why would you approach your morality on the basis of trying to crowbar a justification of something that's clearly morally wrong in order to make it consistent with whatever you think value you're putting on that book? And I think that's one of the major differences and one of the major problems of religion. I think a lot of religious people are good people, trying to do good things, but so much intellectual energy has to be spent trying to reconcile things that we realise are wrong with things that are in the book. Because it's the big difference between religion and science, is that religions can't say, yeah, those guys got it wrong back then. You know, now we realise that it's something different. But science is the exact opposite of that. Science progresses by proving its theories wrong, not by insisting that its theories are right. And so the difference, I think, between religion and science as methods of approaching the truth is probably more significant than whatever conclusions you come to. And I think that the real difficulty is faith and dogma, regardless of what you apply it to. And I'm not suggesting that faith is solely a religious construct. You can apply faith to secular projects as well. People have had faith in fascism. People have had faith in communism. People have had faith in the unregulated free market. But the difference between secular faith and dogma and religious faith and dogma is that secular faith and dogma eventually bumps into reality. And people notice that it's not working. And so they adjust their beliefs. Whereas religion hides its testability in an untestable afterlife. And that enables it to perpetuate itself in ways that it wouldn't if this imaginary shield of an afterlife and things that we'll only understand after we die was taken out of the equation. So I think, to sum up, that there are more persuasive arguments that the universe that we live in is natural, and there are more persuasive arguments that the morality that we live our lives by is natural than there are to suggest that either are the result of supernatural intervention. Thank you very much.